friends, welcome back to the channel. So kind of hard to believe that we're into March already, so that's great. Hopefully spring will be here really soon, but I'm in Canada, so March is usually pretty snowy, so hoping for an early spring this year so I can get out and start going for some walks and listen to some great audiobooks. So today I just wanted to discuss some books that are coming out in March that I'm really particularly excited about. So March has a lot of book releases and a lot of really great book releases, great sounding ones. But I didn't want to speak about a whole crap ton because we would be here forever if I was to list every single one that I thought sounded good. So I've picked, I believe, 5 that sound super good to me, and some of these I actually do have reading review copies of, so I wanted to talk to you about some of these. And so 5 on the list, and then I think 1 honorable mention. But please don't think this is a comprehensive list. This is just ones that I think sound particularly good to me. So getting right into it. So the first one is actually one that's very highly anticipated. Out March 1st is Sundial by Katrina Ward. And of course, last year she released The Last House on Needless Street, which has very high reviews, and myself, I gave it a full 5 stars, and it was on my top reads of 2021 list. So really super high hopes for Sundial, and it has this great purple and pink cover. So here we follow a mother and daughter, so Rob and Callie, and it says all Rob wanted was a normal life, and she almost got it: a husband, 2 kids, a nice house in the suburbs. But Rob has a fear for her oldest daughter, who is acting a little bit strange. So her daughter Callie is collecting very tiny bones, and she whispers to imaginary friends. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think kids have imaginary friends, because children are very open and very perceptive to things that we can't see and we can't experience. So this drew me in right away. So in order to kind of see if she can get a new start, Callie and Rob kind of go back to Rob's birthplace, a town called Sundial in the Mojave Desert, so they can kind of get away and try to reconnect. And it says here, Callie is worried now about her mother. Rob has begun to look at her strangely and speaks of past secrets. So small town, past secrets, you know, that whole vibe, totally up my alley. And it says, Callie fears only one of them will leave Sundial alive. The mother and daughter embark on a dark desert journey to the past in hopes of redeeming their future. So family with past secrets in a small town, everybody's acting kind of weird. I'm all here for it. I keep seeing it pop up on my Instagram and other people talking about it who have review copies. I did ask for a review copy, but it was denied, which is totally fine because it's out now and I'm actually reading it on Audible. So super excited for this one. I hope that it's very reminiscent in that it's a great book and great writing as The Last House on Needless Street. So this is probably my top most anticipated book of March. So that came out on March 1st. So the next one out on March 8th is Face the Night by Alan Lastufka, and I do have a review copy of this one. I'm very excited to read it. And here we follow a sketch artist, and her name is Adriana, and so she is one of those criminal sketch artists. So she works with victims to sketch out suspects and stuff like that. So she's in a session and she's sketching, but what she sketches out is something that's really grotesque, and the only person who has seen this thing that she's sketched out is Adriana herself. It's the monster from her nightmares. So she doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know why all of a sudden she's started to sketch this thing, but it says, when her nightmares become waking dreams that lead into a series of violent outbursts, Adriana turns to near strangers for help. She must keep her son, so her father is actually trying to get her son away from her for some reason. She must keep her son, unlock the mysteries of this strange face, and uncover one of the darkest secrets ever buried in her small town. So again, small town with buried secrets, right up my alley. So I do have a review copy of that one, so I will let you guys know as soon as I read it what I think of it. But just from this, sounds like a really, really great thriller. So the next one out on March 15th is The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. And I read a book by Simone St. James, I believe last year, might have been the year before, and it was great. I thought it was a great thriller. So this particular one has a dual timeline, much like a lot of her books do. So back in 1977 in Oregon, the town was shaken by the Lady Killer murders. 2 men, seemingly randomly, were murdered with the same gun, with strange notes left behind. Beth Greer was the perfect suspect, a rich, eccentric 23-year-old woman seen fleeing one of the crimes, but she was acquitted and she retreated into solitude in this mansion. So fast forward to 2017, we follow Shay Collins, who runs a true crime website, and she reaches out to this woman who was suspected of these murders and wants to interview her. And she's very much taken by surprise when this woman says yes, she will be interviewed for this true crime website. And it says they meet regularly at Beth's mansion, though Shay is never comfortable there. Items move when she's not looking, and she could swear she's seen a girl outside the window. The allure of learning the truth about the case from the smart, charming Beth is too much to resist. But even as they grow closer, Shay senses something isn't right. Is she making friends with a manipulative murderer, or are there other dangers lurking in the darkness of Greer House? So kind of like a crime haunting sort of crisscross mashup sort of thriller book here. So this sounds fantastic. I didn't get a review copy of this one, but I am planning on reading it very, very soon. So this one is out March the 15th. So next up on the list is The Shadow Glass by Josh Winning, out on March the 22nd. And this is another one I do have a review copy for. So as soon as I get through it, I will let you guys know if it shapes up to be any good. So here we follow Jack, and Jack is in his 30s, and he, you know, is kind of down on his luck. He doesn't have a job. He's on the wrong side of 30. He's facing eviction from his apartment in London, and now he's just found out that his father has died suddenly. And his father was a once great filmmaker, and he poured his devotion and his time and all of his creativity into creating this puppet show called The Shadow Glass. And when it was released, it flopped on release because it was deemed too scary for kids and too weird for adults. And so that was, I assume, would be the end of his career. So when the dad dies, Jack decides that he's going to return to his dad's home, and the place is just filled with movie memorabilia and lots of painful memories. Then during a freak thunderstorm, the puppets in the attic start talking. Tipped into a desperate real-world quest to save London from the more nefarious of his father's creations, Jack teams up with an excitable fanboy, Toby, and spiky studio executive, Amelia, to navigate the labyrinth of his father's legacy while conjuring the hero within and igniting a shadow glass resurgence that could finally do his father proud. So, creepy puppets, creepy house, you know, sinister being. Sounds pretty good to me, so I will let you guys know how that one goes. And the last one is one that I hadn't heard of at all before, but as soon as I heard the title, I thought it would be fantastic. So I believe this is a middle grade book. It's called The Field Guide to the Supernatural Universe by Alison Noel, and it's out on March the 22nd as well. So this follows a young boy named Max, and Max can see ghosts, and he mistakenly believes that everyone else can see ghosts too. But of course, as he gets older, he realizes that this is an ability that only he has, and he is constantly being blamed for the mischievous pranks that the ghosts around him are playing. And so he, I believe it's for a summer, has to go stay with his grandfather, who's named Ramhart. And the place that his grandfather lives is a fantastical place. And it says, here in Glimmerville, bakeries sell enchanted pies. The lake is infested with mermaids. The town's beloved ghosts roam free, and Ramhart himself is celebrated as the world's most famous monster hunter. At first, all Max wants to do is survive the summer, but the more time he spends in Glimmerville, the more he starts to wonder if he's finally found a place where he can truly be himself. So, fantastical place, middle grade, ghosts, all of the things. So especially with everything going on in the world right now, books are very, very much my safe space, and something like this sounds wonderful just to dive into and get away from reality for a little while. So I put this one on my most anticipated list because I think it just sounds like a wonderful adventure. So if you're into middle grade, or if you have baby bats at home, I think that one sounds fantastic. And then the last one on the list is an honorable mention. So it's The Ravenous Dead by Darcy Coates, and this one is out March the 15th. So this is the second book in the Gravekeeper series. So I'm not going to go into any synopsis, but the Gravekeeper series is one that I really do enjoy. I read the first book, I believe last year, so really excited to have the second book coming out soon, and I'm definitely going to be continuing with that series. So basically it's about this girl who's a little bit down on her luck, and she is staying in a cottage that's in a graveyard, basically. So it's like a gravekeeper's cottage, and then we learn that she herself can see ghosts, and it's a fantastic, cozy sort of ghost story adventure. And so book 2 is coming out this March, so if you like Darcy Coates, I would highly recommend checking out the Gravekeeper series. So that's it. That's everything that I have for my most anticipated list for March. Like I said, March is a heavy book month. There's a ton of new releases coming out, but I didn't want this video to be super long, so I tried to pick and choose a little bit of everything that I think most people would enjoy. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to give me a thumbs up and leave me a question or a comment down below, because you know I love chatting with you guys. But until next time, stay spooky, everybody. Bye.